Today I'm going to discuss why it's not worthwhile to immigrate from New Zealand to Australia. And again, I'm not implying that living in New Zealand is better than Australia, but I'm just saying that it's not worthwhile to move from New Zealand to Australia. Yeah? So where to move? Yeah, I agree. Movement, it will be really good. But where to move, I'll discuss later. It's time for you to create life according to your rules. CLATYR, create life according to your rules. So there is this popular trend over the years that people are moving from New Zealand to Australia. And over the years, in my opinion, this method of life improvement became quite useless. So if I'm looking in my profession as a social worker, let's say my English would be perfect and then I can move to Australia to work, yes. So the pay for social workers, yeah, it's 120, 130, yeah, there are a lot of locum options. Yes, it has more career opportunities. But again, what is the main thing in a country initially? It's the culture and it's the people. So eventually, if I look at myself as a skilled migrant, I want to move and live in society that cares, that people look at each other, they smile at each other, yeah? People express how they feel to each other. They have direct, clear communication. If they promise to introduce someone to me or to someone, so it's happening. If you go out and you like some ladies, so you have opportunity to interact with them and something might happen from there, yeah? So a lot of migrants, when they initially fascinated by the marketing of New Zealand, they come here, they leave their money, they do the studies, they find their jobs or whatever, and then they understand where they actually arrived. And through the years they understand their package deal that they arrive into is not that worthwhile. And then you have this initiative of, oh, let's wait till the residency, oh, let's wait till the citizenship. So they convince themselves that, okay, I'll just wait a bit for the citizenship and I'll move to Australia and then my life will be way better. And a lot of migrants actually doing that. They come in here, fascinated first 1-2 years by New Zealand, then understand where they arrived. Financially, some people actually gain some money, some people gain less money, some people lose money, just depends. And after that, oh, there are more money, more opportunities in Australia. Okay, doesn't matter that by the years I've been in New Zealand, I changed, not to the better, yeah? I became more enclosed, I became more frustrated, yeah? I'm not that motivated and ambitious person I was before, but yes, when I get the passport, I can move finally to Australia. And then, let's say they move into Australia, and let's say they are finding better job, paying, let's say, 30% more, which is quite realistic for Australia. But then they notice, wait a second, my rent is way higher, wait a second, cars are twice more expensive, oh, the internet is way more expensive, oh, the cities are so big, my commute takes me so much money to spend on the commute. And also I notice people are kind of the same. It's the same Western culture that you have in the US, in Canada, in the UK, the same thing. Then thinking to themselves, oh, this is like, what's the point? Okay, so maybe I'm earning a bit more, but then I get taxed more, and then I spend more. So what's the point of that? And I understand also the safety outside is not so big, not so good. And also, I understand that the politics is the same as in New Zealand. The things are not being done for the locals, for the people. It's not being done for them. So in New Zealand and in Australia, you see that actually people do need it. Yeah, professional people do need it in Australia and New Zealand. Yeah. But what's happening? The politicians are focusing on preserving the boomers, their wealth, their properties, and of course somebody who will take care of them in the old age. But they completely neglect the young people up till age 35 that have no opportunity to buy a house in a good price, that has low chance for men to find a decent relationship, and with the years the career opportunities shrinking, especially in New Zealand, but in Australia as well. Yes, in Australia it's better regards career, but then you have there way more people and way more competition. So what's happening? Yes, and people get disappointed with New Zealand, with what's happening here. Oh, we can't find a job, we can't buy a house. And you see each year the politicians are doing the quality of life for young people even worse. They're saying, oh, I'm going to live to Australia, it will be way better. But wait a second, the politicians in Australia are doing the same. It's not like in Australia the housing are lower. No, it's also really high. The rent also really high. And it doesn't matter that the wage is higher, because still it's everything way higher. So what are you trying to accomplish? For men, it's still the same Western society and the same low chance to meet a woman over there, because women are too empowered over there and men are minimized and lowered and discriminated against in society. So men are not really a thing over there, you know. There's no big respect for men, not in New Zealand and not in Australia. So a lot of migrants and also local people understand that, to what's happening. And my question is, like, you know, what is the point? And then you have the group of people that realized that actually there is no point moving to any Western countries, not to Australia, not to New Zealand, not to US, and not to UK or whatever, unless they want to be hermits and talk with no one. Yeah? So they're saying, oh, I'm living in Australia. So look how many topics there are about people, oh, I'm living in Australia, I'm living in New Zealand, I'm living in the US. Everybody kind of thinking, oh, but where are they living to? So the funny thing is that people who are living New Zealand, they're going to Australia. People who live in Australia going to New Zealand. People who live in New Zealand going to US. People who going to from US live in US and going to Canada or whatever. It never ends. And each time people think that if they go to one Western country, to another Western country, their life will be better. Until they will, with the years, they understand the same problems happening there as well. And basically there is no point moving to any Anglo-Saxon or English-speaking country. And for that, I'm saving you a lot of years, yes? Money wastement, suffering, and maybe degradation by saying that. So there is no point moving to any Western countries because there is no future in the Western countries, especially for young people. Maybe boomers who are 50, 60, who have plenty of houses, already have quite traditional wife that will stay with them and didn't listen to all the social media nonsense that's happening these days. Maybe you still lived in a really good life. I meet some people in the dancing events in the 80s that are still kind of have this kind of morals and attitude. So a lot of women back then from these ages understand me, and that's why I get contacted recently quite often by women 40 plus. But younger women actually don't really like what I'm saying because I'm actually telling the truth. They understand that their value is overinflated because of their looks, and they have hundreds of men that running after them without any good reason. And they don't like that I'm talking about it. And also they don't like that I'm talking about what's happening in the Eastern Europe, for example, or in Asia, where actually still man has some kind of value. While here, male value very low. What is the offer for the Western world for men? It's not clear to me. For women, yes, the value it's way better, because like a video that I made before, for women in the West, life is way better. But for men, it's definitely the package deal is not worth it. Not worth it in any aspect. And I can't not to look at society and observe and ask questions, because this is my nature. And I see the package deal I'm getting here. I think one of the only things that I can say that is kind of all right in US or Australia, New Zealand, that men are not conscripted and hold weapons. That this is done by choice. What's happening in other countries that you don't have a choice and you need to sacrifice yourself for decisions of people you never meet. So that's the only thing that is kind of good. But the thing is, it's a big price to pay for just being not part of the war efforts around the world. So, but still, for men there are places that can be quite good. And yes, there are still places in Eastern Europe and in Asia that men will get way better package deal than living in the West. And you're probably asking me, oh, so why are you still here? Well, anyone who want to help me and advertise this one, I'll be really glad. And then I'll show you the life in different places will be way better than here. But again, my point is, look, just don't waste time on living in the West. Because again, like, I can't see anything better is happening here over the years. It's just getting worse and worse. The values of the education system upon the children, it's not really good. You know, all this identity, confusion of identity among kids. Because in the past you had like males and females. Now you have thousands of different genders, which actually confusing children really much, and causing them a lot of suffering. So I really don't think that's something that does good to children, this confusion. Because back then it's easy, or you male or you female, done. But now, when you have so many options, imagine how much suffering it does to the children, how much confusion, how many issues. So, and that's agenda that is heavily promoted in the West. The United States, Trump actually stopped from that agenda being promoted in the United States, which is a good thing. And of course, in the Eastern Europe, this thing is not even considered. There's no such thing. And you can see how smart, healthy, and beautiful children are grown up in Eastern Europe and the Slavic countries. How smart and beautiful these people are. So there are a lot of things in the West that the life for men is actually, they're getting a real extremely bad package deal. And again, you need to understand that each country, it's a package, it's a business deal. You are living in a country where you have obligations and you have rights and of course obligations, like I said. And to pay your taxes, obey the law and everything, yes? On the other hand, these days, what do you get in return? To rent a room with a few more people? Or to live in a car? That's what you can get? To spend most of your day in some kind of building and earn money for who knows what? Like, what's the future? What is the aspirations in life for a young person today? If you see so many young people today have mental health issues and they want to harm themselves, you definitely something in the system is not going right. In the education system and in society, definitely something not going right. And actually, amongst young people, it's quite bad amongst men and women, girls and boys. Something is definitely not working right. And for this reason, still there are places that will be way better value than living in the West, because the West developed until a certain point and just going downhill. And in the politics, you will see no better change for young people because they're really focused on preserving the current rules, the current system. They do everything possible to keep the housing prices extremely high, because the economy actually grows based on fake housing prices lift. That's the GDP. When people go into high debt because of these mortgages, it shows that, oh, the economy is growing. But it's not growing, it's making people more poor and into chains to repay the same apartment endless. Imagine, like, there's an apartment that costs $500,000. Somebody takes a mortgage on this apartment, and then they, for a few years, they sell this apartment. Then another person takes another mortgage on this apartment. And eventually, most people that taking the mortgages today, they never repaid it because of, bouncing rates and stuff like that. That's why I never saw a point to take a mortgage, high mortgage, for 30, 40 years. It's just, what life is about, And a person who takes a mortgage for 30, 40 years is the perfect screw in the system, that he will need to pay the mortgage, he will need to, most of the time, go to work he doesn't like, Maybe he'll need to stay in a relationship he doesn't want after a certain time, because divorce will cause him a lot more suffering and financial issues than actually staying. But imagine a man that is free from all that is not really benefit to the system. Yeah? Is not benefit for the system. He is free. He's spending money on himself, on his growth, on his development. He doesn't need to financially support anyone. And there is no lady that will take half of his earnings or properties when she will want to divorce. And that most of the time will happen statistically. Women file for divorce way more than men. So, and men, what they'll do if they don't like the relationship, they will cheat. But they won't file for divorce, because again, divorce is destructive for men, very destructive for men. For some women as well, for some genuine women as well, but most of the time it's very destructive for men. And also think about it. Let's say you already living or intend to leave and left to other country or other Western countries. Let's say if you're talking about New Zealand and Australia. So you easily are going to be replaced by Asian migrants, Indian migrants that are willing to pay the rent for this landlord, are willing to take mortgage for 30 years if they have the option, and they will just replace you. And also because there are less and less career options, and the wages are actually not really improving. So people from these poor countries that consider poor, they will go for whatever they can get. They will leave few people in a room. They will accept a lot of things that you are not willing to accept, and working conditions that you're not willing to accept. That's why you see plenty of different immigration frauds that are employees, like migrant employees, are exploited, and then they are not getting paid what they should have been paid. And some migrants are actually coming out and talking about that, but a lot of them say nothing, and then they continue to be exploited. So for that reason, that's why I'm saying that the political party doesn't really care, or doesn't matter for them if you will leave or go to live there or going to live there. It doesn't matter, because replacement will be easily found. And unfortunately, that is the situation. So again, think about what package deal are you getting in the Western countries. And I see, except being free from military service, which maybe in a few years you won't be free from military service, who knows, if China is going to do something in this area. So maybe that will change as well, and then you will even lose that benefit. So I don't give any recommendation if you should move to Australia or to any other country. I'm just giving my experience, my opinion. It's your life, you can do whatever you want. It was me, CLATYR. See you next time. It's time for you to create life according to your rules. CLATYR. Create life according to your rules.